So here the first instruction, we have root, addressable root, and so on. So when we have a generic type, as I mentioned, we have to check whether it satisfies the conditions. And we look at the generic class root. It has a generic type P that extend addressable. So this one is fine because it is addressable. And the second must be comparable. So if we look at addressable now, it's not comparable. So it's going to violate the conditions of the type V. So what kind of error we will have here? Yes. It will not compile. We will have a compilation error because addressable is not comparable, and this is a requirement for the generic type V applied to the class root. واضح? Okay, so this is why. Now addressable is not comparable, and root requires a generic type V that is comparable. Okay, so we don't execute even these ones because compilation it's not going to execute. Okay, let's go for the second. Root city root equal new root city. We're going to check the same thing. Now root, let's look at city. So first of all, it must be addressable. So city is addressable. It must be comparable. City is comparable with city. And look here, okay, so here we make comparable V. So it must be with the same type of the class. It is correct. So this instruction is correct. There is no problem. So we have now to look at the constructor of this class root. When we look at the constructor, it's going to print new root. So I will make new root. I will write that. Then it will do city root dot root. So it's going to get dot root, and here it's a set. It's not a list. So when we have a set, it means we will not have duplicate values. You have to pay attention to this. So city dot root dot add city addressable city. Now we have a casting. We have to check whether this casting is correct or not, because sometimes if you do a casting that is not correct, it will have runtime error. So here address city is addressable and created as a new city. Is it possible to cast to city?
Yes.
Yes, because it is created as a city. So it is possible. So this one is correct. So here we will add a new city with the name Mecca. Okay, I do here as a command just to have in mind what is now happening behind the scene, because there is no printing. So I'm just putting this as a command, and then I will delete it. And then we have to add city type. So new city, it's a city. Okay, it satisfies the type V condition. Okay, so add type here, and then add type another time, and then add Mecca another time. Yes. And finally, I want to print the set. So how many elements I will have in the set? 2 only. I know Mecca is repeating, type is repeating. Okay, so I'm going only to have 2 elements. So 2 elements, and here we have, no, we have something important. The set here is created as a tree set. So a tree set is going to organize according to what? To the comparable. So I need to see comparable city, comparable city, and here compare to. It is in the opposite order of alphabetical order. So instead of making from A, B, C, D, no, we start from the Z, yes. So here, what we should put in the beginning, Mecca or Taif. طائف يس لأن هي مكة أم قبل التي فلما نعكسها تصبح التي قبل الأم أوكي طائف and مكة okay so I don't need I don't need this okay so we are where we are now yeah we are here طائف and Mecca yes we missed something by the way after new root it's because we have the constructor and we missed something also in the city constructor we have city constructor we have to print so when we create a new city here we have city constructor two times because we create this one and this one so it's going to execute the city constructor two times is it clear
ما في خطأ.
لا ما في خطأ هنا there is no error yes now coming to question number 3 root city root so it's the same I don't have any problem I can write new root create a new okay new city type it's okay city root dot add addressable city here we did like here but we did not make casting addressable city for the compiler it is addressable and addressable is not comparable so I cannot here have this one because it is not comparable it waits for a comparable object so here I will have a compilation error so I don't even need to write this one compilation error because addressable city is addressable which is not comparable okay we cannot add not comparable object in the tree set okay
Shouldn't we print the previous steps for the error? Shouldn't we print the previous steps?
No, when we have compilation error, we don't print the previous steps because compilation is not going to execute even. Okay, if you have runtime error, it's so you execute all the steps before the error occurs. Yes.
Solution.
Yes.
Solution.
So the solution is to make a casting here, like we did. We can do a casting like in question 2. Voila. So here now we have root city root. So we don't have anything new root we can write, and then city root dot add city addressable city. So addressable city here, it's a city. So we can do the casting here. So it's like adding Mecca. I don't have any problem here. And then here addressable town. So I have here addressable town is equal to new town. And I want to cast this town into a city. It's like you want to cast an apple to an orange. Is this possible? No. Because here town, it implements addressable, that's true, but it does not extend city. Okay? So we cannot do this casting. So what kind of error we will have here? No, we will have runtime error. It's casting. تذكروا لما سوينا الكاستنج when we did casting, when we execute, it discovers that it's not possible. So for the compiler, you can cast to any object. It doesn't matter. Okay, but for the runtime, it's going to discover when it executes that this is not possible to do it. So we have runtime error because addressable town is a town object and cannot be cast to a city object because there is no relation between both. Okay, so the solution is to remove this syntax. It's not possible to add it.
So we don't execute anything after that?
No, anything after doesn't make any sense. Okay, because from here it's going to crash.
It sometimes happens for the compiler to tell you that this object cannot be converted to this object when you do casting. So is it compilation or runtime errors?
No, for the compiler, the casting you can do it. I mean, only if this is something not possible to. So for the compiler, it's you can do a casting. You can do a wrong casting, and we did it several times.
Between objects?
Between objects, yes. It will not discover this. Okay, but it's only during the execution because it's dynamic typing. So during the execution, it's going to try to infer the real type and then do it. Okay. So why this is possible for compilation? Because town for the compiler is addressable, and city is a subclass of addressable. So for it, it's possible to do this kind of casting, but only during the runtime that it will discover that this is not possible to do. Yes.
دكتور إذا التاون كانت extend city كان ممكن صح؟ إذا التاون
If town extends city, yes, in this case it's possible to cast. No, it must be city that extend town.
لا بعرف الموصل
Yes.
إذا extend
Yeah. Okay. So now for question number 5, root town root equal new. And we are going to apply the same thing. Town is addressable but is not comparable. So we cannot here. So here we have compilation error. Compilation error because town is not comparable and does not satisfy the requirement of the generic type V that must be comparable. Voila. Question 6 now. So we have city map, it's already created here. We can write this like this. And then we are going to put citymap.put city.name city. So this is city that we have. Let me put it as a command in front of us. Citymap.put. So I'm going to put city name and city. So I will have, what is city name? So city name here when it is, because city is use the default constructor. The default constructor is going to make the name to no name. So the key here is a string that is the name of the city, and the value is the object itself, city. And the object here is going to be represented as its name. because toString method. واضح? So when you print it in a map, so I'm going to have no name equal no name. So this is the name, and this is the toString method of the object. Okay, and then don't forget now we have a tree map. So tree map, it means they will be organized according to the alphabetical order of the key. Okay, for the moment let's put all things together. So what do we have? And then we add type equal type in the same way, and it's here, it's capital. And then we have Jeddah equal Jeddah. Okay, now we have to look at the condition tree map. So a tree map is going to organize according to alphabetical order. So we know that capital letters are smaller than lowercase. So I'm going to reorganize this as follows. G is the first one, smallest one, then capital T, and then lowercase n. Okay, so this results from system.out.println print map, and here we print the key equal the value. This is how to print a map. Then we will create an iterator which will start from the first iteration here. It will do it.next, it returns Jeddah and move here. And then it.remove. What does it do, it.remove? Remove the last returned value. So it.remove remove the last returned value. So in this case, if I do it.next is going to return Jeddah, it.remove is going to remove Jeddah. So finally I'm going to have type and no name. واضح? Okay, this is how it works.
أول الساوث سيتي ماب تطبع كلها؟
نعم؟
أول سيستم without print تطبع كلها؟
نعم، تطبعهم الكل بالترتيب. Okay. Here now in last question we have the same thing. Of course, we need to write city constructor twice because new type, new Jeddah. And then until here is the same. Then what we will do? We do list iterator it equal new. Look, we make an array list. We put all the values in the array list and then a list iterator. So you can decompose this. Let me put a comment. So we will do an array list. What does it contain, the array list? Contains all the values. Jeddah, Taif, and Noni. All the values. صح ولا؟ بعدين it makes a list iterator that starts from 2. So it will start from this position. This is the iterator. واضح ولا؟ It will make system.out.println it. No, طيف هذه. The second is type here. So when it is here, it will print it.previous. What is it.previous? Type. Okay, when it makes it.previous, it's going to jump here. So here it will make it.previous without printing. And then, so when it make it.previous, yes, is going to come here. When it do system.out.println it.next, is going to print جدا. it.next, it returns the current element and then jumps to the next one, not like the previous. Okay, and finally this is our output. So the most important thing is that you do this step by step, you do it carefully, okay, and make sure about everything. Yes. Yes.